So y'all tell me if I'm wrong or not. I was just talking to my cousin, and she thinks I'm too harsh on dudes because I told her, like I'm gonna tell y'all, that you need to stop dating men who need saving. Yeah, we all go through stuff. That's what she was. D, you don't understand. Everybody go through stuff. You done been through stuff, and I have. I have been through stuff. But I also know there's a right time and a place for everything. By the way, side note, shout out to all my replay watchers out there. But she got mad at me because I was telling her the gentleman that she's with, even though she described him as this amazing person, he has a great heart. Okay, he has good character. He's a good dude. I said, that's not safe grounds to walk on with your heart. That's not safe grounds to walk on with your mental health, with your capacity to love, your desires for love, your need to be reciprocated. That's not safe ground. You need to leave him where he's at. Like some dogs don't need to be adopted. You know what I'm saying? Like some of them you just got to leave in a shelter, love them from a distance or something like that. But you just can't bring everything into your house. Figuratively speaking, your house is your heart. Again, your mental health, your thoughts, your finances, your friendships, your family circle, holidays, the association with you publicly in terms of your reputation. Everybody ain't meant to come into all of that. And so when you're talking about a romantic partner, like you're not going to be just going on dates and cuddling with this man. You're not going to be just like looking at him and saying, oh, he's a good person. And, you know, and that's safe for you. Like, no, like you can't date men who need saving. Not in the beginning. Now, I don't know how much into the conversation she was even listening. Like I said, she got upset. I think she called me because she thinking I'm going to just tell her what she want to hear. And she already had an idea of what she wanted to have affirmed. So I'm going to talk to y'all. When you date a dude, in the very beginning, this is the foundation creation stage. That first 3 months, let's just say 3. These are the foundation creation stages. These are the tone setting, the expectation setting stages. This is why we go on dates and put our best foot forward. We want to put on a smell good and freshly groomed. Like, you know, somebody come over to your house for the first time, get in your car for the first time. You want it to smell good, look good, nice, right? You're setting the expectations. Some people think it's fake, this, that, and the other. No, it's not. It's saying this is what our best is. From here on out, we know we're capable of this. So if we ever get away from it, we know what we need to get back to. We also know if we get too far away from this, something's wrong. Okay? Stick with me here. If a dude comes into a relationship needing saving on any level, emotionally, because that's most of the time what he needs saving on. Sometimes it's financially. Most times it's emotionally. That's the foundation. That's now the tone that's being set. That's now the expectation. And it's not that he's a bad guy automatically because you caught him in a time in his life where things were just upside down and his mental health and his emotional health and all these things. He was just broken and blah, 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 blah. And your empathic heart said, I want to come and be here for you. It's not that he's a bad guy. It's that he's not safe. You know, whenever you go to a bank, you're trying to get a loan. They don't really do a personality test because they're getting ready to invest something in you. They need to see that what they're about to invest is safe to invest. So they do a credit check. They don't just have a conversation with you and see what your personality type is. They want to know what I'm about to invest in you. Is it going to put me in a bind? Am I going to be set back? And am I going to be devoid of resources that I need to continue on doing what I'm doing? It ain't got nothing to do with whether you're a good person. I believe we should all go about it the same way when we're getting ready to make an emotional investment. You can't deal with a dude in the very beginning who needs saving because on down the line, now this is the expectation. And if you ever stop saving him, things are going to be off. That's the tone that's been set. Now, am I saying that you can't come in and be a valuable contributor? No, you're supposed to be a contributor. You're supposed to be somebody who does for him. You know, it ain't all about you. I'm not one of them that's going to tell you as a woman, you have no kind of responsibility to meet a man's emotional needs. That's actually the exact opposite of what I believe. But I think there's a difference between a man having emotional needs and a man being in survival mode. If the only way a man can make it right now is to have you to lean on or depend on, okay, maybe you do that for him. But that can't be the start of the relationship. If you're going to do any saving of somebody, let it be on deep into the relationship once the tone has been set, the expectation has been set the right way, and now he's going through something mentally, emotionally, financially, and you want to be there for him, cool. Because that's not the identity of the relationship. Too many times I've seen where women get into a relationship with a man who needs saving, and you come from that empathetic place of whenever you once needed somebody and you ain't have nobody. Or when you once felt invisible in times of stress and hardship and nobody wanted to look out for you. The only difference is when you get into a relationship, there's got to be a certain threshold level of relating for it to survive. It can't just be you doing a nice thing for somebody because you know that they deserve it or you want them to have it. If he doesn't have capacity to save himself, he damn sure ain't got capacity to love you. I'm going to say a lot of truths today that's going to hurt feelings. Share this. Share this if you ain't scared. But if a man comes into a situation, and even if he didn't have it in his mind to use you, but he comes into a situation needing to be saved, now, in the back of your mind, whether you realize it or not, you don't really have full confidence he's there for you. In the back of your mind, you just asserted a certain level of value in his life, and you don't even know if he's strictly there for you. And don't let it be on down the road where you finally tell him, no, I can't hold space for you mentally and emotionally today. For yet more trauma that you're going through and nobody understands. I can't do it. I can't be there for you financially to pick you up out of this situation that you done got yourself into, even though you was trying to do the right thing and you got behind on bills or whatever the case, may have been. Now, you know that you risk the entire reason y'all leaving together. Because it started off like that. You can't save everybody, first off. I'm telling you in the very beginning, especially when you're building that foundation, you're setting that tone. The last thing you need to do is go into rescuer mode just because you understand how it is. Your energy can heal, ladies, especially if you're in your feminine. But do not get it misunderstood, because if you mishandle that healing energy, that nurturing spirit of yours, you will allow it to be taken advantage of to save a man that you're really supposed to love. And the two are not synonymous. Again, if on deep into a relationship, it's been 6 months, it's been a year or more, and this man lets you know he going through something right now, or he done lost a family member, or something that he's not able to be his full self to the relationship. And then there, you let him be selfish, you be selfless, you hold space for him, you do for him, you put money in his pocket just to keep him afloat. No problem with that. That's not going to throw off the dynamic because the dynamic has already been created. But if you do too much saving, at some point, you're going to feel like that man mommy. And guess what? When he's no longer in that space of survival mode, you don't know what he's going to find valuable now. Like, put it like this. If I am starving, if you're starving, you're hungry, right? You may right now strictly be looking for some place to eat. That's all. It's all you want. You don't care about a nice, comfortable place to lay your head. You don't care about a new car. You don't care about all these other things, what you got on. You just care about food. But the moment that food, that hunger, that craving is satisfied, now your eyes are able to open on other things. Now you ain't thinking about the food. I mean, it's nice to have. You're gonna need it again at some point. But that's not the sole thing that you're looking for. You don't have as much of a priority on it. Your belly full. Now you want to go have some fun, right? Or you want somewhere to lay down and go to sleep. Now you got other things that you desire and need. When you meet a man who is in survival mode for any reason, whatever that thing is that got him in survival mode, that's 99% of the time what's most important to him, even as he chose you. He's not considering who you are. He's not considering your character, your personality, the value that you bring, the heart that you have, the conversation that you have. All of that stuff is existing. But if he's in survival mode and you're saving him from that survival mode, you're like the food that's about to fill his belly. And once that hunger goes away, once those cravings go away, those hunger pains go away, his eyes are now going to now look at other things. Even for all that you think that you provided, y'all be in these situations, I gave him everything, I was everything, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, but he was in survival mode for one thing of you. You gave it to him. And now he's evaluating from his more sober mind his not survival mode self, and you don't rank as highly without that life or death desire for that one thing that you gave him. This is the problem with dealing with somebody who's in survival mode. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad dude because he's in survival mode. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to have boundaries to protect your heart. There's a right and a wrong way to do everything. There's a right and a wrong time to do everything. It is not the time to be dating. If that man meets you and he got all of these Saving Private Ryan stories about how horrible his life is right now, y'all can just stay in connection. You can hey, I'll stay in touch with you, but this ain't how we need to date. And if you're going to stay even in contact with a man that's in that situation, you need to be mindful that you're not allowing that to be your value add in his life. He need to go see a therapist? Okay, cool. But make sure you're not supplementing for that therapist or replacing what he should be getting in a therapist. And off the strength of what you're building and investing in him, in that time that y'all are talking, you're getting connected from your heart and he's getting connected to you from his wounds. Is what I'm saying making sense? Tell me if I'm speaking facts, if I'm speaking facts. Please. I want to know if I'm talking to anybody. Who's understanding? Who's picking up? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? If that man needs a therapist, right? And you're so empathetic, you're so understanding, you can connect and da-da-da-da-da. You need to have a line that you draw. Even in those conversations, if what you're investing in those conversations is causing you to fall for this man, to fall in love with this man. Because you're going to fall in love with his wounds, not his heart. Same thing goes if it's financial. We all done had financial issues. I know I have. Everybody I know has had financial issues, right? But that's not the time to date. And if you are going to even get to know a man while he's in those financial situations that he's in, you don't need to be the one to pull him out of that. Not if it's the first couple of months. Not if he hasn't already established from a sober mind, from clear eyes, that you're the kind of person he wants to connect with. You don't need to be pulling him out of that. He needs to go and get a job or, find something else or downsize his living style or whatever. He needs to find some other way to cut the budget in half or, go get somewhere else, a loan or whatever, but not you. Not you. Because then when he's financially back on his feet and you don't have that as leverage, you see the only thing that should be leverage to be in a man's life is who you are. And him being able to assess, again, from a sober mind, a clear heart, that you and who you are fits with who he is and where he's going. Towards his mission, towards your highest self, that y'all are compatible on that journey. There's no way to assess if y'all are compatible on that journey towards your highest self, towards your mission, if the journey he's on right now is strictly to survive from day to day. You can't assess both. This is why they say don't shop whenever you're hungry. Because you're probably going to get whatever. You're going to get stuff you don't even need. You're not thinking with a clear mind. You don't shop whenever you're hungry. You're not using the best of your rationale. And some of y'all have dated guys who were in survival mode and you paid the price of being left in survival mode. Y'all stop me when I start lying. You dated a man who was in survival mode. I'm talking about in the very beginning. Again, please do not have a man that's been good to you and y'all been rocking for 6 months, a year, and now he hitting some hard times and think this applies to him. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about in the first couple of months, this man came to you and his life was a mess. And you went straight into janitorial mode. You went over there and got your little blue coverall and got your little name tag and your little yellow mop bucket and your little tool belt with all the all the disinfectants and that. You just got to work trying to clean up the mess that he made in his life. You dated a man who was in survival mode and he left you in survival mode. And then what I've seen happen a lot of times, and this is what I think is going to happen to my cousin if I'm being real. Hopefully she's watching this, because maybe she wasn't able to hear me when I was saying this earlier. But hopefully she's watching this. Because now you're going to try to deploy the same exact tactics to get over this man, to let this man go, that you did whenever you got hurt or disappointed from a more healthy place. And you was dealing with a certain situation where maybe, y'all just mutually didn't work out. But you don't realize that because he left you in survival mode, you met him in survival mode, that now there's been this soul tie created, a trauma bond of sorts that needs a completely different strategy, a different game plan in order to completely sever. And that old way of detaching from a man, getting him out of your life, going no contact, getting over it, accepting that, you know what? It just wasn't for me. Ain't working. You may not necessarily want him in your life, but you find yourself consumed either with the thought of this man, the moment that you get triggered, maybe you get with a new dude and you weren't thinking about the old dude until the new dude reminds you of it. You sabotage it, you put your guard up, you can't let nobody in. Or even worse than letting nobody in, you letting everybody in until you can't even get disappointed no more because you kind of understand what come with it, which that's not really what come with it, is that somebody going to disappoint you. You now have a soul tie, basically this imprint on your heart that's created this new paradigm, this new framework that feels like it's not hurting as bad as what it once was, but it's continuing to render the exact same results, the exact same quality of interaction over and over and over again. It's a little deep to get into, okay? I'm really kind of breaking down some of the red flags, some of the symptoms of a soul tie. But if you want the full in-depth discussion that I did on soul ties and how to break soul ties, I've made it available, and I made it available for free. For those who click the link down here in the comments, go to Derek'sFreeMasterclass.com. Again, this is a free masterclass, deep dive, step-by-step, how to recognize if you have a soul tie or soul ties, which most of y'all do if you've never done this work. And most importantly, how to break those soul ties for good. This is going to give you that mental and emotional reset. Again, this is free, by the way. But the deep dive is here. Derek'sFreeMasterclass.com. Toby says, take the masterclass, life-changing. Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't cap. Breaking the Soul Tie Masterclass. Watch that next. You're going to want to register now because it cuts off at a certain amount. Forget how many, but it cuts off so it don't mess up. But Derek'sFreeMasterclass.com, or the link that's pinned down here in the comments, is also in the caption if you want that. Back to what I was saying. Moral of the story. Stop dating men that you have to save. Stop dating men that you have to rescue. If that's the only way that you can get this man to work, is if you get him and you got to refurbish him and you got to get new parts and you got to do all of this work. Look, you might as well just leave him where he at. You ain't no mechanic. Even if you are, you ain't no mechanic when it comes to love. You ain't trying to fix and flip no man. You're trying to build a foundation for happily ever after. If he got to be fixed and flipped, he really need to be left alone. But those are just my thoughts. If anything I said in this conversation was true, like you know it to be true, you know it to be facts, put your money away. All I ask is that you hit the share button so you could pay it forward to somebody else so they can get blessed by this the same way that you just did. Again, the share button, wherever it's at, hit that share button if, only if, you found something that I said to be true in this conversation, because we need to spread that truth the same way they like to spread all of these lies and other BS that break up homes. But, and if you want more, like I said, if you want more and you want to go even deeper on the subject of soul ties and how to break them, the simplified step-by-step strategy that I gave to thousands, click the link down here, Break the Soul Tie Masterclass.